Newer. Oh, hello there and welcome. Thank you for joining us once again for this, the 9th episode of the Drunk Doctor Who Heroes and Villains podcast.
Yay!
Yay!
Alright, and in episode 9 we're doing Katarina.
We are
Hatter and Olin.
Brent Fosner.
Who the heck's Brent Fosner?
I think he's a sports player.
Okay. Alright,
how many episodes was Katarina in?
Total? Oh wait, as a companion or just
many.
total? She was in about 7.
Like 2 as a companion, right? 1,
3 maybe? Okay.
until she gets jettisoned.
Alright.
Spoiler.
Okay. Katarina is remarkable for a couple reasons. Remarkable. First of all...
Unique, you mean?
Well, both.
Different.
No, both.
Are you a fan of Katarina? Think she's a remarkable companion?
No, she's not a remarkable companion, but she's remarkable as a companion.
I think you like Katarina.
She is the very first companion to die while traveling with the Doctor.
That's pretty remarkable, I'll give you
that. Yeah. So,
first companion death.
Yeah, first companion death will not be the last. In fact, we're doing
Kingdom.
another episode tonight for Sarah Kingdom.
Do you think most people consider Sarah Kingdom the companion?
Yeah.
And Katarina?
Well, Katarina definitely. But Sarah Kingdom as well. She sort of fits that slot.
She traveled in the TARDIS once.
I think so.
Did she even make it to the TARDIS? I think she traveled
At the end,
TARDIS.
she's trying to run to the TARDIS
yeah.
and she dies. All right, anyway, Katarina. Katarina is the replacement for Vicky in the Mythmakers.
A short-lived replacement.
Right? Because
from Troy.
Yeah, from Troy. Because when the young female companions are contract ends, they run off the TARDIS to end up getting married to somebody who they fall in love with during the adventure.
I think they missed an opportunity where they could have had Helena be the Helena of Troy.
Helen of Troy?
Be the companion, because she started in one kingdom, was swooned by a man, left that kingdom to another kingdom.
The problem with Helen of Troy is there's no history of her disappearing.
They started a war. Do we have history of what happened after Troy?
Well, it's legend and history and stuff, yeah.
Well, anyway, that war was started because she left for this one dude. That'd be funny if they started this whole war and then she left on the TARDIS.
That's the reason they didn't do it. Besides, she was going to stay with the man that she fell in love with and stayed with, Paris.
Did she though? I don't know my history.
Okay. Yeah,
Is that technically history? I feel like it's fallen into a lot of lore.
Okay, the Odyssey and the Iliad.
I don't know.
The Iliad and the Odyssey have made some of it lore, like Odysseus, but there definitely was a Helen of Troy who definitely launched 1,000 ships.
Was there an Achilles? Is that a real person?
I don't know. That may be legend, but there was
played
a
by
Helen
Brad
of Troy.
Pitt. You watched that movie?
Yeah, I watched
Brad
that
Pitt.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Peter O'Toole. Wait. I think it was Peter O'Toole.
The director?
The actor.
Brad Pitt.
Peter O'Toole. He didn't play Achilles, but he was in the movie. Okay.
Brad Pitt was Achilles.
Correct.
That's the only one I care about.
Peter O'Toole. Alright. Anyway, so Katarina is a handmaiden. Vicky, just like Susan before her, falls in love, stays behind to stay with her newfound love. And this will happen again and again for the female companions. Leela does the same thing much later on.
Futurama?
No, named after Leela from Doctor Who, I think. But no, Leela in Doctor Who, she stays behind on Gallifrey because she falls in love with a guy.
Gallifreyan?
Yeah, and this happens sometimes. Gallifrey, but not a Time Lord.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is know there's a distinction.
There actually is. You will find out later on.
Well, I know there's supposed to be in like the new stuff.
No, but there was actually a distinction previously.
Okay.
The Time Lords live in the city of Gallifrey.
I thought Gallifrey was the planet.
It is, and it's also the city.
Oh, like New York, New York.
New York.
We should have a
Quebec City, Quebec.
We should have an. We do have an Earth. Earth.
Earth.
That's in Lamb County.
Oh, there you go.
Just
Earth. But it's that kind of stuff.
Gallifrey.
But anyway, so the Gallifreyans are people who live on the planet. The Time Lords are the people who live in the city, who rule over the planet.
So to sum up,
they embrace the technology, whereas the Gallifreyans want to live a natural, rough life.
to sum up, if you live in Gallifrey, you're Gallifreyan. If you live in Gallifrey, though,
The city.
it's not.
Kinda. All right. So anyway, Vicky stays behind. Katarina takes her place, but the producers quickly understood that Handmaiden from Troy would be unable to understand the vast majority of things which a companion needs to understand, like traveling in time and space, basic technology like gunpowder, or a light bulb or a flashlight, much less super technology like, time travel and the TARDIS. So
Just quickly written on.
Yeah, she
quickly written off. She was.
She could only attribute things to magic and the gods,
It was a fun trope for a minute.
Yeah.
But there's this running spot that needs to be filled in the show that is the relatable character to the viewer. Because you have all this fantastical time space travel going on, and you as a viewer are like, what's happening, and having someone there who doesn't know what's happening is an excuse for the writers to exposition and explain.
Right, for the doctor.
Yeah.
For them to ask the doctor questions you want to ask the doctor, and for the doctor to explain them so you can understand.
So they had.
But she couldn't know what to ask.
She had Katarina fill that role, which took it a step too far, because she was unrelatable in the opposite direction as to where she was just lost the entire time.
Right, which is why so many companions are from modern day Earth, such as Ian and Barbara, because they filled that role, or to a lesser extent Vicky, even though she wasn't from current Earth at the time. Ben and Polly coming up are from current Earth at that time, and most of the modern companions are from current Earth at that time. They have a few aliens in companion roles down the line, but thus far everything we've had was pretty much a human being, if not a direct Earthling, at least a human being.
Right.
Okay, but later on we'll have a robot, an android,
C-3PO.
the head of a Cyberman.
Does he have a side?
I kid you not, and several actual aliens from different planets, even though they look human, but they're actually aliens from different planets.
Okay.
Yeah, and once again, and one of them's even from E-space.
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 What? Is that
Outside
East?
of regular space.
Oh.
Yeah. But
like,
this...
Omega?
That's
like a...
kind of, but that was
hole,
negative space. Yeah, that was negative. E-space is different, but in science fiction, there's always another universe somewhere else you can go to.
Like the east side of town.
East side of town.
Where are you from? East.
So,
E-space.
Katarina doesn't understand a lot of what's going on, especially because they go from ancient Troy into the Daleks' master plan, which is super sci-fi, super ton of aliens, super ton of Daleks, and all sorts of planets in 12 episodes. And third episode, is it the second and third episode in, she kills herself to save the Doctor and Steven.
I think it's the cliffhanger on episode 2, intro to episode 3. That happens.
I mean, you got your notes.
So barely goes on episode 3.
Right, and the Doctor, I know he didn't know Katarina very long, but he's like, oh, okay, she sacrificed herself to save us, and what do we need to do now? And it's just so cold.
Yeah.
Just so cold.
It's like, I didn't really like that one.
Let's move on.
What's that?
But
Prison Planet. What's that?
She's not only the first companion to die, but she's the first companion to have an incredibly short time in the TARDIS.
Very short.
Yeah. There are other companions that only do it for a single episode. There will be other companions that get picked up in one story and get dropped off in the next. Like I said, Adam. It just, they're kind of throwaway companions, essentially. And there are other companions that do die helping the Doctor. It does happen.
Usually on Dalek serials, right?
Well, these two both in Dalek serials. But most of the time when companions die, they are short-lived companions, like Katarina and Sarah.
That's a note I wrote when I was drunk, and I can't read it now.
Funny podcast idea, super drunk on absinthe.
Oh.
That's what that says.
I'm surprised you can read that. Did you write that? I couldn't read it.
No, I did not write that. My handwriting is different and better.
I can't read my own handwriting.
Okay. Usually it's the short-lived companions who die, but not always. There are some long-term companions that actually pass away. Yeah.
I like when a show
Just a
has
couple.
real consequences.
Yeah, that's one of the things missing from the current Doctor Who is consequences, because way too often, like with Clara, oh, she's dead. Oh, she's not dead. Oh, she's got to die someday. Oh, no, she can live forever. Oh, this, and just there are no consequences anymore. It seems it's really, really annoying.
A lot of just sequels in general will run into that problem. Where have you watched Kingsman?
Mm-hmm.
The silly James Bond movie.
Love it. Love
the first one was great. There was consequence, and you had a significant character die. And the very first thing they do in the sequel, the second movie, is bring that character back. so all throughout the second movie, you're just like, there's
but then you have a different significant character.
There's a piece that and you're like, well, what's stopping them from just bringing him back in the third one as a cyborg?
I don't know, but I like both of those movies.
You just sitting through the movie, and it kills this suspension of disbelief where you're just like, well, it doesn't matter who dies or lives because they can just write them back in the show. It kills a consequence or like a level of engagement.
I love both of those movies.
I didn't like the second one. The first one was great.
Let's see. Okay. Did you have any questions about Katarina?
No, not a whole lot to ask. There's she seemed kind of rushed in, like to fill a spot and then quickly written out.
Yeah.
As if there's like some, she took over for Vicky.
Hmm.
Like, did Vicky leave the show early to where they needed to?
Well, no, she left, like we were talking earlier, they did 1 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, here's your year, your contract's not renewed because we got to keep the show fresh, And they wanted to put her in, and then they decided it was a bad idea.
Okay.
And then they flirted with putting Sarah Kingdom in, which we'll get to in the next episode, and then no, they didn't do that, yeah. And then we've got a brief period of time with no female companion during the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With it's just him and Steven.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very brief, and then we eventually get Ben and Paul. Then we get Dodo.
The airport one.
No.
Mine?
Okay, hold on.
I was confused.
The airport one was also put towards with as being a companion, but she ended up not.
Right.
Yeah. But
When
no.
does Dodo come on?
Hmm?
When does Dodo come on?
At the end of... She jumps in the TARDIS literally at the end of the Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve.
Yeah.
Right after the Doctor has a soliloquy about they've all gone. They've all left. I'm such in pain and everyone's gone. And then she runs in, he's like, who the heck are you? But then Steven runs back in, says the cops are coming in. That's when they leave.
You think the TARDIS would have better defense mechanisms for stowaways?
Yeah, but at that point, you figured the Doctor was just distraught. But then again, didn't have a very good one when Steven stowed away either.
Yeah, it's true. Did that.
All right. So, wow. Anyway, that's Katarina.
What more can be said?
We're going to be done quick tonight.
That's fair. We'll go home and we'll play
Terraforming Mars.
Terraforming Mars.
Yeah. All right. Next episode, Sarah Kingdom, which will also pretty much be short. We'll have more about Ben and Polly and the Cybermen, and Dodo will be a short episode. Wait, next week. Okay. So next time we're gonna do, I think, the Celestial Toymaker.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
And then the Cybermen.
We've never watched the animation for that yet. There's that animated that hasn't been animated.
Wait. Talking about the Celestial Toymaker, or talking about the 10th planet?
Celestial Toymaker.
No, it's not been animated.
Okay.
Only one episode survives, and the rest is currently reconstruction. They haven't really started. They've done some early animations for the first Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
For a few very specific serials, like the French Revolution one.
Just to wrap up
Just a complete, here's a 6-episode serial, we're missing 2, let's fix it.
the Celestial Toymaker, they're missing the majority of
3 of the 4, right. But the big current project that they're doing to finally get everything on Blu-ray, that has not been started for the first Doctor. They're mostly doing the second Doctor because he was missing the most. And they're keeping with the second Doctor because they've already got the Doctor and most of his companions and who throughout his run animated. So they can keep using those. They're probably going to finish with the second Doctor and then move on to the first Doctor.
That seems weird.
But we'll see.
I don't know why they wouldn't just do it in order.
Well, the second Doctor had more missing, so they might as well start with the bigger project. Of the first Doctor stuff, the biggest and the longest one's going to be the Daleks' Master Plan. Because there's 9 of the 12 episodes missing.
Yeah.
And they're going to probably animate all of them just so you can watch the entire thing animated.
That'd be cool. I'm excited for that.
And with the new stuff, you get 2 discs. One, you can watch it in the original black and white, or you can watch it in color.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're probably going to do that eventually. But first we have to finish up with the second Doctor's serials. Although I would love it if they did start simultaneously working on something like the Daleks' Master Plan, because it's going to take years just to say, okay, we were working on this the whole time, now it's done, here it is finally, boom, and just, sneak that in there.
Now we're done with reconstructions, right? We didn't have any of Pertwee's missing?
No, there were some Pertwees that were missing. They were found. We've seen them, and there were a couple of them that were only found in black and white, but they were able to colorize them using color patterns from inside the film that you normally don't see.
So we've already gone through those and I didn't even notice.
Yes, with I think a single episode or 2 from an upcoming one with Pertwee where there's dinosaurs.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
That one looks a bit off because just a couple of the episodes because they did that with the colorization.
Okay.
Because the surviving black and whites, they went and they pulled out the red dots and were able to color in the rest of it.
Cool. But there's no missing. They recovered all the Pertwee's episodes.
Yeah, there were some that were jumped, but they were all eventually recovered.
Oh, cool. Nice. And then after that, we're just totally done with reconstructions.
Well, yeah, we've been done with reconstructions since we finished the second Doctor.
Sweet.
The last serial reconstruction was the Space Pirates, which is the only serial missing from season 6. I don't know why they haven't animated it yet, just so they can complete a season.
Yeah.
But they keep seeming to animate seasons 4, 5, and 6, so they don't ever actually complete one to release on Blu-ray.
Who knows what their decision-making process is?
Well, I think it seems like they want to get as animated as far apart as possible, so they can go to the bigwigs and go, we need more money so we can complete the season. To always leave part of the season not done, so that when they can get the season complete and then use that, as Blu-ray to help complete the next season when the money comes in.
That makes sense.
That seems to be what they're doing. They're just trying to get the.
That's a good take on it.
Well,
I never would have thought of that.
Not only that, but who knows once they complete a season? Because I'll go out and I'll buy the Blu-ray or the DVD.
Right.
How long they'll wait to put on Blu-ray, so that people buy the DVD, not wanting to wait for the Blu-ray, because eventually you're gonna buy the Blu-ray.
Now that's upsetting.
Yeah.
I'll notice in retail stores they'll put a DVD of one movie one place, and then they'll put a Blu-ray of it somewhere else. Because if someone sees the Blu-ray and the DVD sitting next to each other, they generate less sales because maybe they buy the more affordable one. Maybe they'd only sell one and not the other. So they separate them. They'll have like a Batman movie on DVD here, and then a couple aisles down it'll be on Blu-ray over here. And you're thinking, why don't they just put them next to each other?
I don't know. I mean, if I'm digging through the bargain bin at Walmart and it's a crappy movie, I'll buy it on DVD, no problem. If it's a decent movie, I want the Blu-ray. If it's a gorgeous or an amazing movie, I want the 4K.
See, I can't even tell the difference.
Really. Between DVD and Blu-ray?
Not unless I'm looking at them side by side. If I stick a DVD in the DVD player, I'll just... I have no problem watching it.
It depends on the video of the movie.
Okay. If I watch a 4K, I'm like, the picture looks really nice. But as soon as you start watching it, it's not in your head anymore.
Well,
so unless I'm looking at them side by side,
to me, the quality, the fidelity of the picture helps improve the viewing
immersion.
Experience. Yeah, and the immersion of the movie makes the movie better. Plus, you get to see details that you weren't going to see otherwise in a lot of cases. Blade Runner is a great example.
Oh, Blade Runner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. See you in a couple minutes for Sarah Kingdom.
See you next week.
Really, a much better companion than Katarina.
I'll see you next year.
Next year, no, 5 bloody minutes.
See you next week. See you tomorrow.